Hey everyone, it's Phil Key from Night Owl Films. Welcome, thanks for tuning in. I've just finally got a chance to watch Ghostbusters Afterlife. Not a horror, but ghost film. And I can honestly say it's one of the first few sequels, reboots, whatever you want to call it, that I watched and I actually loved it. It wasn't watered down, it wasn't censored for the new generation, it wasn't soft, it wasn't wet. It actually ticked every box I could ever wanted ticking. And the reason I'm mentioning that is because I've noticed this year, but in general observations, that a lot of sequels that they're making today, obviously from continuing stories from years ago, they just don't live up to the original. The quality, the nostalgia, the vibe, the sensation, the wonderment. They just don't have it anymore. I remember watching the reboot for Jeepers Creepers. No words. I turned it off. I couldn't believe what they'd done to it. I didn't understand why they'd done to it what they had. Um, Hocus Pocus 2 was like watching a parody. Couldn't believe they'd done what they had. Can't watch it twice. It's one of those films where once you've seen it, and if it's not special the way the original was, it just sits on the shelf. And then I thought, you know what? I'll watch Ghostbusters Afterlife. The trailer, I will say, I didn't really buy the trailer. I watched it, didn't really sell it to me. But when I asked around, and quite a few people said they've kept the best bits out of the trailer, which they have. And the story, it comes together in a way that you just don't expect it. And I know people say, well, that's the whole point of a story. There's twists and turns in it. However, the more you get into it, the more you can see that the people who made that film understand it's not always about pleasing a new generation. And I'm going to very briefly talk about something called narcissism. I'm not referring to narcissistic personality disorder here. I'm referring to narcissism in general, the need for attention and admiration and grandiosity. Now, people probably thinking, well, where's this going? There's a lot of crowds and whatnot on social media. People who just like things for the sake of liking them. And when I watched Ghostbusters, I clocked on that the filmmakers didn't do that film to please social media, to please the new generation. They did it to bring a chapter they created years ago to a close. And it was very obvious because when I watched it, I connected with it straight away. It wasn't, oh yeah, there's a respectful nod. Oh yeah, there's another one. Oh, now some material that's never been seen before has no meaning to it. There was none of that. And as you all probably know by now, there is a new Netflix series called Wednesday, directed by, I think it's Tim Burton, and it stars Jenny Otaga, I think she's called. And obviously, they've picked up on that from the fact that Wednesday Addams was one of the most prominent characters in the franchise, and Christina Ricci made Wednesday Addams what she is today. Then you've got this new, obviously, TV series that's come out, and everyone jumped on the bandwagon. Oh, it's brilliant, it's amazing, it's better than Christina Ricci. If you don't like it, you're negative. If you don't like it, there's something wrong with you. When it comes to film fans and studios and narcissism, this is how it works. Or, well, this is how I can see it from my point of view, how it works. So, Wednesday came out, and straight away, all the crowd jumped on it. Yep, it's brilliant, it's fantastic, it's amazing, nothing else out there like it. You had social media flooded with Wednesday memes, and it got to the point where I thought, you know what? I personally avoid hype. I avoid the crowd because you tend to just get stuck in a loop where you don't actually engage and research and look for other work that is out there that is actually sometimes better, if not as good. And with Wednesday, the TV series, it was just going on and on and on and on. People copying her, people dressing like her, people acting like her, dancing like her. People misunderstood that as a fan base, when the majority of the time it's actually down to narcissism, wanting admiration and attention for pretending to be someone else that is already famous. Now, TikTok, you've all heard of it. The amount of videos that people make on TikTok, and you find them on Facebook and Instagram. I can't count how many people I've seen dressed up as a film character, or they've copied off a film scene, or they've copied off a dance, or a special phrase. And when you actually say to these people, right, okay then, cool, they take offence to it, because in their mind, the original actor got that much attention for their performance. That audience member has then copied it, and then because the actual professional actor is getting that attention and admiration, the copycat wants the attention and admiration as well. So then they upload their video and it's, ooh, look at me, I'm brilliant, I'm just as good as this. No, you're not. You've just copied off someone else who's a professional, and then you've just shared your own version of it. So you're just copying someone else's work. And what I've noticed a lot is the studios, they do monitor social media groups, they do. Because a lot of stuff that you see in films, you think, hang on, I've seen that being talked about on social media. You've picked it up from there and you've shot it over to the writers of, obviously, or something like that. And what I've noticed is, if social media wants it, the majority of people, the crowd, the studios agree to it, regardless of what the original fans were hoping to see. And then they release it, like they did with Hocus Pocus 2, for example. Best one I can give you, because I know the film back to front. And when I commented on social media saying, don't agree with this, don't agree with that, I was immediately attacked. People said, I'm not grateful, I'm negative, I should appreciate what they've made. No. If the studios want to suck up to the Karens and the snowflakes and the cancel culture, they're not going to get very far with storytelling, because before social media even existed, you didn't have any way of communicating to the actors and the studios, the producers, directors, writers, what the audiences wanted. Whereas now, it's easy more than ever just to access the internet and do your research to find out what the audiences want. And the downside is the studios want to please the new generation. And unfortunately, the majority of the new generation are that soft. You can't even say boo in a Halloween film without it being given a 12 or a 15 rating. And when I was watching Ghostbusters, there was none of that at all. You could see they'd stayed true to the original story, they got on with it. There wasn't any, will we offend someone, will we upset someone, none of that. There was a few parts I jumped. It's not a horror film, it's a ghost story, but I jumped. Not scared, just, a bit on edge here and there, but it was enjoyable. And that's what films should be like. None of this, oh well, it's popular on Netflix, let's all copy and make TikTok videos. Let's copy the hairstyle, let's copy the dance moves, let's dress up. That is a fan base, but there's also cancel culture and narcissism within that fan base. Because if you don't like what those people are doing, they'll attack you. Why? Because when they've seen something on screen that's popular, and they can see the attention and admiration it's getting, in their mind, well, if I do that, I should get and be entitled to the same fame. No. And we seem to be slipping down a loop where the studios just seem to be playing this game of release a series or a film, get people to copy it, make their own videos of it, get it out there, get all the fans, making videos, get them all together, give them all the attention, admiration they want. And then when the crowd comes, the opposing crowd comes, like me, I have no interest in watching TikTok videos. Oh, well, you can't say that, you're negative, I don't want you on my following. Well, fine, I don't want you on my following either. I don't want to know you, because the professional actor who did it is the one you're copying off. I don't want to come to you for copycat work, I want to go to the original performer who was there before you even got there to copy. And when I watched Ghostbusters, there was nothing in it that I could see that played up for the sake of social media being able to take it away and make something of it themselves. And I truly believe that if the studios and filmmakers keep going down this route of making material that fans can copy off, quite frankly, it's going to be meaningless material that has no worth or validation, no wonderment, no awesomeness. That's not what films are about. And I start to wonder whether social media is actually killing off how original and true to the heart films were years ago, before social media even existed. I have seen some films lately that I just think that's clearly been brought out just to create a fan base of people who are going to copy off it. Whereas when you see Ghostbusters Afterlife, it's like, perfect. Nothing wrong with it. It hasn't been made so other people can copy. It's been made to close the chapter for the original fans, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And without giving anything away, obviously, watch it if you haven't. If you have watched it and you were disappointed, well, can't say too much for yourself, obviously, but for me personally, it was a lovely memory that they brought back, a trip down memory lane. I have nothing bad to say about it. It's one of the finest films in the franchise they've made, and I give my, tip my hat off to them. And I think if a lot more studios and filmmakers followed the way they did Ghostbusters Afterlife, I think we'd have a lot more decent films coming out, because, as I say, at the moment, I don't even recognise half of the stuff they're bringing out. And you try not to be sort of put a downer on it. You try not to be sort of, the negative one, as they say. However, when you can sense a piece of work has been created just for the sake of appeasing people who want attention from copying a scene, quite frankly, if that's the way filmmaking's going, it's going to be a very depressing, dull world. I can't see how watering down material just so the people can copy off it and like it, so you've got a crowd of sheep following you, I don't see how that's going to create good, happy memories. Good, happy memories were created before social media came out, and films at the moment, they're very touch and go, I think. They're very just, you either connect with them or you connect with copying them, which is what a lot of people do. And obviously everyone's different. However, when you have a hope that a film coming out after 20 years is going to be either good or bad, it tends to put you on edge. And as I said with Ghostbusters Afterlife, I was doubtful, but I shot it on, couldn't turn it off, loved it, finished it. Would I watch it again? Absolutely. It just had the X factor. There was nothing I can say bad about it. The actress who played the granddaughter, she was absolutely perfect for that role. I did not look at the film and think, oh, they've cast new kids who have never understood the nostalgia. They made it so beautifully put together that it was wonderful. And if you haven't already seen it, guys, I highly recommend you go and watch it. I have not seen a good as film as that in a long while. And yes, I cried because I hit the right button, and that's what films should do. If films aren't making you feel emotional, nostalgic, don't take you back down memory lane, yeah, you have to raise the question, is it a film for the generations that, we're hoping for more, or is it purely a film that's being made so the attention people can jump on board, copy the film, upload it to TikTok, la-di-da-di-da, you know the rest. Thanks again, guys, for following, and I hope everyone has a good new year. Cheers now.